About 17 years ago March. Now, I can't believe 17 years ago I stepped out of the corporate arena, and I was a divorced single mom of 2 little kids, and a friend said to me, why don't you look at this company that I use a product that helped me, why don't you look at this company as something that you can do part-time while you're looking for a job? And I said, well, I'm not good at sales. I hate salespeople, So if it has to do with sales, no. She goes, yeah, but you love the product. Just share it with people. And I said, okay, you know what? I will do that until I find another job. But then I was thinking, wow, how great would it be if I can become an entrepreneur, have my own business, work from home, create the lifestyle that I wanted, create the income that I wanted without any proverbial glass ceiling. I don't know anybody in corporate America that hit that glass ceiling, and be a part of something big, something that resonated with me, something that I found valuable, and that I could make a difference in other people's lives. And I was like, wow, what if this can happen? What if I'm able to kind of switch careers and go from a corporate person to somebody who owns my own business and make a difference, and then be able to support myself and my family and grow as a person? And I will tell you, I was scared. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to talk about a product, but more importantly, I didn't have the confidence in me to be an entrepreneur and have my own business. That was so scary. So today, I want all of you to have an open mind as to what you're going to hear, because we're going to talk about a company that's changing lives. So we'll back up a little bit. After my first year or so at that opportunity, I matched my corporate income and I never looked back. So my kids are now, now, was there a lot of ups and downs and oh my God and all kinds of changes? Absolutely, but one thing is always certain, change will always happen. And how you navigate those changes in life will determine the person that you're going to be and the role model you're going to be to your children, should you have children. Because my children now are 23 and 26. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Ariel. And I'm very, very proud of them. They're both in their careers. They're doing great, but they grew up with an entrepreneurial mom. They grew up with a mom saying you can do anything you want to do as long as you make up your mind and go for it. And I made up my mind, went for it, and as life would have it, and several years ago, Kat and I were within the company, and I got a chance to become very good friends with our VP of Operations, Brad Tales. Shout out to Brad Tales. Who in August of 2015 reached out to me after our company the company that we were with made a decision to shut the network. And he called and said, you know what, Valerie, I found something. I found something that you have to take a look at, because the product really impacted his wife, who suffered with some severe health issues, and it caught his attention, and he was asked to come on board to kind of help relaunch this great company that we're going to speak about. And he knew my background, he knew my husband as entrepreneurs, but as people who are very passionate about wellness. And he goes, you have to come out. And I did, and I came out and met the owners of this great company and got to understand a little bit what I'm going to share with you today, and got really annoyed that I didn't know a lot of this. And I made a decision then, and Brad knows I knew you were gonna, to come on board and help to start to develop the network. And I couldn't be more thrilled and pleased to be standing in front of you to share Canaway, the hemp lifestyle company, the CBD company. And you're going to learn all about that. We have a very special guest here today that I'm just so honored to have here with us. So, without further ado, I'm just going to get into, clickers right here. Okay, so, Canaway, that's me. When we came on board, we made a decision to launch an advisory council. And the advisory council is really the voice of the field to the corporate. And we were able to pull together a core group of people that have now laid the foundation and developed the system that we have today. So very, very proud of my colleagues on the advisory council. So who is Canaway? Canaway is built on these 4 pillars. We're family-oriented, we're sustainable, we're driven by science, and we're natural and botanical. And you can't go without a couple of days or a week to really see something in the newspaper. You see we've been featured in Fortune and Yahoo Finance and USA Today and Telemundo and countless others, Money, magazine and others that, okay, we're starting to learn about this great industry. So very, very proud. So let's go through family oriented. We are a company every day for everyone. The products you're going to hear about and the opportunity in front of you is for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're an infant or you're a senior, where you live, what your situation is. That's the type of company we are. We're a professional company in what's perceived as an unprofessional space. And we're going to get into a little bit of that right now. So very, very important to know. We're sustainable. Hemp reduces deforestation. You see Dr. Titus there with our farms. And we're going to get into about where our product is grown and everything else shortly. But look at that beautiful picture. Hemp grows clean and improves soil quality. It's amazing what hemp can do. And we're not talking about marijuana, we're talking about hemp. For those of you in the room, we're talking about, two different varieties in the cannabis family, and you're going to learn more about that shortly. Look at this sustainable hempcrete. Everything that we make today can be made out of hemp. Concrete, plastic, everything that we have, steel. Henry Ford built a car made out of hemp steel and ran on hemp biofuel. I mean, I didn't know that. That was pretty impressive. So when you think about the future and what was always a part of our lives, now is making a comeback, and I'm really, really proud of that. But this is really, really important. We're natural and botanical. No pesticides, herbicides, chemicals. We're non-GMO. So everything that you're going to experience today, you can be rest assured that it's safe for you and your family. And we're driven by science. Here we see Dr. Titus with some doctors that are doing some amazing research, and I'm going to let Dr. Titus talk a little bit about Harper and the story behind what has just created this whole groundswell of information out there. So we're driven by science, so everything that you're going to hear today is not just happenstance, this is absolute science. I think there's over 26,000 plus studies around CBD and what this can do for us. So we're a company of firsts. We're the first to create a mainstream natural and botanical CBD blend. We are the first to launch a respected cannabinoid supplement and pharmaceutical line. We're the first to develop strict quality standards through rigorous triple lab testing. That is huge, again, to ensure the quality of the product and purity of the product. We're the first direct sales company to offer hemp products, so any of you in direct sales, woohoo! It doesn't get better than that. And the first company to use hemp to combat aging, skin problems, low vitality, you name it. We're going to learn more about that this morning. So let's talk about the history of hemp, as I alluded to a little bit ago. Industrial hemp has been grown in the U.S. since the first European settlers arrived in the 1600s. The War of 1812 was fought over the hemp trade. A lot of us didn't know that. The Declaration of Independence was drafted on hemp paper. Our first flag was Betsy Ross. It was a hemp flag, hemp fabric. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, our founding fathers, all grew hemp and actively advocated for commercial hemp production. You could pay your taxes with hemp. In certain times you were mandated to grow hemp. So what happened? Hemp was a staple crop of the 1800s. In the early 1900s, 90% of all medicine was made from hemp. So what happened? In the 30s, through propaganda and through corporate greed and through a lot of changes in legislature because of that, hemp was taken out of our diets in the 30s. And of course, medical expenses went through the roof, pharmaceuticals went through the roof. So here we are, a product that our country was founded on, was taken away. We all had hemp in our diets. We fed our cattle, our sheep, our pigs. Hemp was part of our lives, and then it was taken out. So hence we have a lot of the situations that we have today, hence the opportunity now to bring it back. So we have an endogenous cannabinoid system within our bodies. Dr. Titus is going to be speaking more about that. It's the body's largest self-regulating system. It balances mood, sleep, appetite, hormone production. We always knew that we have a nervous system and we have an immune system. But in the 90s, Dr. Michelin discovered that there's something else there that connected the two. And it was the endocannabinoid system. And this is now being studied. It's now mainstream. And more of the medical profession is actually coming on board with understanding the endocannabinoid system. It influences homeostasis, or balance, in our body. We have CD1 and CD2 receptors that are within the body that you're going to learn more about today. And a deficiency in the endocannabinoid system can really upset the body's balance. So Dr. David Allen stated, the discovery of the endocannabinoid system is the single most important medical discovery ever. And here you'll see a picture, and Dr. Titus will be talking about this system in greater detail. So to supplement the largest self-regulatory system within our body, we need to take a plant-based phytocannabinoids daily. And you're going to learn about those products. It's all about our oils, you guys. That's the foundation. And we have a wonderful family of products here at Canaway. We have CBD-rich hemp oil and a variety of different oils depending on your needs. We have an exclusive Bee-Balm herbal formulation that Dr. Janelle Kim has given to us. She's a master herbologist. It's a proprietary herbal exclusive formulation combined, fused with CBD-rich hemp oil. Nobody else has a product like this. Specific herbal formulations have been handed down through centuries from her family's lineage of doctors and herbologists. And it optimizes the mind, the body, and promotes health, youthfulness, and longevity. You're going to hear more about that later, but what's interesting to know, nobody else has a product like that. We have our Define skincare line, which is fabulous. Okay, guys, there's a lot of ladies in the room and men. I mean, your skin is your largest organ. People say, well, why do you have such an amazing, CBD-rich hemp oil, and why a skincare line? Well, your skin is your biggest organ. You need to take care of it. You have to be careful. There's a lot of products out there that have a lot of chemicals, and that seeps right into your skin. And there's a lot of studies now that show what you put on your skin directly relates to what's going on within the body. So I was so thankful to see that we have an amazing anti-aging skincare line that's not one of these fad things. It's not one of these things that plump you up and 6 hours later, This actually works at the cellular level, the dermal level, to improve your skin. And the longer that you're using it, the better your skin responds. And we have an incredible salve that you guys will all get a chance to experience. It is like our MacGyver product. That salve, I mean, you can put it on anything. Kat can share with you her experience. Dry skin, areas of discomfort, split ends, you name it, you use it, and I tell you, you get results. An incredible bath soap. You all know that our bodies are filled with toxins day in and day out. Wouldn't it be great if you could detoxify by taking a nice bath? And we have that formulation within that product. So exceptional line. Later on, you guys will be able to experience the line. We have them all back there, and the team will be happy to take you through it. So our cause, why are we here? Dr. Titus will be speaking a lot about that, but you'll see these families of these children, and I had a chance to meet all 3 of these great families, and I will tell you that, I'm going to get emotional, we had the Figuera family with us at our convention in San Diego, and had a chance to hold baby Sadie. I mean, a child who, they got their child back as a result. She was seizing, 300 times a day, and got on our products, our oils, and they really impacted her life, as so many others. And to experience that, and to truly see that this is not just like another product we're trying to get you guys to learn about. It's, and it goes from your head to your heart, and you see the impact that can be made, one child at a time, one person at a time. It's no longer an opportunity, it's an obligation. And I have to tell you, I get goosebumps thinking about it, because, I didn't know what I didn't know when I got involved in this company. And then when I found out what we have our hands on here, that's why, this room will never be this small again, and it's an obligation now to share what we know. Whether people will, understand it or subscribe to it or whatever, it doesn't matter. We know that we know, and that's a really, really important thing. One of the things that we're launching this year is ECHO, and it stands for Education, Collaboration, and Hope. So we are in the process of putting together a nonprofit that's going to have an educational component to it. It's actually going to be like the PubMD of the cannabis space. And you're going to be able to go on and get educated all about this incredible science that we have in front of us. We're going to collaborate with one another, so we will have a site where people can post questions and have that answered by other people and doctors, which is wonderful. And of course, through this nonprofit, we are able then to continue to fund and help families with children and adults with need that would maybe otherwise not be able to get their hands on our product. So I'm extremely, extremely proud of Echo and what we're doing. So I applaud you guys. You know, in the next couple of weeks, you'll be seeing Echo launched, and we're in beta right now, so very excited about that. And our first contribution was to the family. As I mentioned, at our convention there was baby Sadie and her parents, and Raul, who was actually leading the way in Mexico for distribution and for the awareness of CBD and the lives that it can change. So extremely proud about this. So let's talk a little bit about our opportunity here. So we know that there's a lot of science. So now how does that equate to the industry that we're in? Legal cannabis is the fastest growing industry in the United States. You see that graph there? I mean, look at that, from 2004 to 2015. Within the next 5 years, the industry is expected to out-earn the U.S. film industry, the organic foods industry, and more than triple the revenues of the NFL. Okay? So think about that. I think, big applause, So this is a huge opportunity for us when we think about being on the forefront of an industry that's about to explode, that is actually exploding very silently right now. But when you think about the numbers that this is going to overtake, it's crazy. So when you think about opportunity, remember I said opportunity leads into obligation. When you think about an opportunity, you may be sitting here saying, hey, I'm looking forward to learning more about the science and the products and where we are at this place and time. But think about the opportunity of now more and more states legalizing medical marijuana and more states legalizing recreational use. And again, we're not talking about marijuana but what we are talking about is CBD-rich hemp oil, which goes, you know, you think about the industry, how big it is going to be. State by state, person by person, you get to be a part of it. So let's look at our opportunity of direct sales. Many of us are here. This is my full-time career. I'm a lifer. I told Dr. Titus, I mean, I am here to do everything in my power to ensure that these great products get out to the masses and people understand what this is and what it isn't. It's all about education. And the better that we can get educated, the stronger we will be and the more lives we'll be able to touch. But let's talk about the industry of direct sales, network marketing. It's a $178 billion per year industry globally, with retail sales in the U.S. reaching $36 billion. Every 10 seconds, somebody is joining a network marketing business. Maybe it's just to buy some great products, because we all know that a lot of great products are marketed through a network marketing or direct sales channel. People go to people they know and trust for information. Gone are the long commercials. And people, wait, what do we do when a commercial comes on? We just, you know, so forget that. I mean, no one's even reading newspapers anymore. Everyone's online, quick. But when they want to go and get information on something that's important to them, it's usually somebody they know and trust. They're going to believe that a lot better than just some infomercial. More than 20 million people were involved in direct sales in 2015. Over 200 million people will enter the network marketing industry over the next decade. Because you guys, you think about, you know, corporate America and all the changes, and a lot of people are going to outsourcing and telecommuting, and corporate America as we know it is changing every single day. Look at all the layoffs right now that are happening with a lot of companies. It is outrageous. So what this gives you is an opportunity to have a plan B, to have an opportunity that you can potentially replace an income should you lose your job. So this is a great opportunity, part-time, to create whatever it is that you'd like to create for you and your family's future. More than 74% of the U.S. public has purchased goods or services through direct selling. And in 2015, 77.4% of people involved in direct sales were women. So when you think about, you know, who are the keepers of the, you know, the household, I mean, who makes the decisions about the foods you eat, the chemicals you use to clean your home, all those different things, buying a car, everything. You know, so when you think about 77% of women are involved in this industry, you guys that are here and that here are part of our business, you know that the biggest thing you want to do is go out and get a whole bunch of women in your business, and it's going to explode. We love our men. We do. So, of course, there's a great compensation plan attached to Canaway. And we're not going to go into a lot of details here, but look at all these great ways that you can earn. Retail sales. We have a 3 and free program. So you are enjoying our products, introduce 3 of your friends, family to our products, and they get on those products, your products are now free. How great is that? So if someone said this, oh, it's expensive, or this or that, say, oh yeah, well, let's get you on the products. I know you're going to love them, you are going to enjoy them, and then let's just introduce this to a few other people that you feel it can help, and now yours can be free. How great is that? A direct sales bonus, we have rank advancement bonuses, lifestyle bonuses, a 50% check match, residual income. Basically, residual income means, you guys, that the work you put in today, you are paid for years and years to come. And so it's about leverage, and that's a great opportunity that we have with the direct sales network marketing opportunity. We also offer a minimum income guarantee here at Canaway. And what does that mean to all you guys? We're all, if you work in corporate America, you're used to, like, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, a certain annual salary coming in. So what does that mean here? It basically means that as you develop your sales team, if you develop your volume of product sales within your businesses, the company's going to guarantee, as you hit certain thresholds, we're going to guarantee that you're going to earn a certain amount of money, or if not, we're going to top you up the difference. How great is that? So if you told me, you know what, to quit my job, I need to earn $5,000 a month, I don't mind working at something part-time for a year, whatever, to get there, or however long it is, then I'm going to say, great, let's work together, let's develop a sales team and a sales base of $45,000 in volume every month, and now you have your $5,000. So gone are the days of like second guessing how this is going to work. You get to work, you share authentically, products are moved, and you get compensated. And we also have an incredible stock incentive program. As you're building your business and developing other leaders and teams around the country and soon around the globe, we have a great stock program, so you actually have equity within the company. And that, my friend, is an extremely unique component to building with us here at Canaway. So we can go into more detail later on about that. Getting started is very easy here, and we're going to be doing, after Dr. Titus speaks, we'll take about a 15-20 minute break, and whoever would like to stay, I will conduct a training on how we actually start to launch our business and be successful in this business. But basically, you're going to become a brand ambassador. It's only $49 a year to become a brand ambassador, and we have a bunch of different steps to ensure your success here, and we'll go over more of those later on today. We have a variety of different value packs so people can experience our products based on whatever it is that they're looking to target. And then, of course, if you're looking to launch a business, we'll make the proper recommendation for you. And again, we'll talk about that later on today. So again, I said that, we are here. Canaway is a company for everyone, every day, all around the United States and soon around the globe. So very excited that you are here with us today. And with that, Andre, do you just come up and get the other presentation? I'm going to have Andre load up Dr. Titus' presentation. Okay, and so everyone, listen, I know that many of you are here was not to really hear me speak, but to hear our guest, and you are in for a treat. When I came on board and I had the opportunity to evaluate this company, Dr. Titus was in the room with us, and I was, like I mentioned before, just so impressed with what we had our hands on that I made the decision to come on board. And through that time, Dr. Titus has been just a staple helping the field develop all around the country tirelessly. This is a Sunday morning. He had a very busy flight schedule and business schedule, and yet he made a decision to come and be with all of us today. He's the CEO of our parent company, Medical Marijuana Inc., and holds a few other titles within that company. So please, everyone, get on your feet. Warm welcome for Dr. Stuart Titus.
Pleasure to be here, and certainly thrilled to be back on Long Island. I was born and raised here on Long Island, in the Glen Cove, Oyster Bay, Locust Valley area, and certainly great to be back. We are actually here. I was in New York earlier in the week for a Maxim Biotech board meeting. Acton's one of our pharmaceutical development companies. But we also have a family out here on the eastern end of Long Island who's been using our product very successfully with their daughter, who unfortunately had a very advanced form of epilepsy. And so I'm actually out here with our media crew to film a story about this particular family and their progression of the child through their developmental issues, and how our hemp CBD products have made a big impact and quite a difference in their lives. So it's great to be here actually filming a wonderful story about our family of growing individuals who are using our products. Certainly we're quite excited about many of our products and the product lines that we're developing. Can't be more excited about Canaway. Did my presentation. So again, my name is Titus. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of our parent company, Medical Marijuana Incorporated. Medical Marijuana Inc. was actually public going back to March of 2009. I became involved originally as the number 7 investor, and over time developed a larger role with the company. We had a new group that came in March of 2011 and actually purchased the company from the original founders, and this group comprises our current management today. I met our management group and my current business associate, Mike, going back to April 1st of 2011. Never forget that day. Here was a young fellow who had a very successful real estate career, but an incredible mind, and just saw the future, and tremendous visionary. Mike had been researching CBD for about 4 years prior to coming on to Medical Marijuana Inc. We hit it off right away, developed a long-lasting partnership. But going back to the 1960s, when cannabis was first popularized here in the U.S., everyone, the Beatles generation, Woodstock, etc., were doing cannabis, and the developing market started to happen. But as the 70s and 80s went along, there were obviously many enterprising growers who wanted to try to grow either higher concentration THC, or even look at some of these other cannabinoids. And so some of these growers decided to try to grow a higher concentration CBD crop. And so they harvested their crop, and they did all the processing and rolled their joint and started to smoke the CBD joint, and gosh, there was no effect. So CBD was considered the hippies' disappointment. And that was kind of the end of CBD until Mike and I came along, put our heads together and said, if we decide to maybe do this a little bit differently, perhaps we can extract the oils, make a tincture that if then ingested into the human body, we might have a little bit more therapeutic effect. This might actually prove to be a great business and enterprise. So we decided to go ahead and take a chance and roll the dice with this, not knowing we're ever going to be able to sell $1 of product. But we went ahead, contracted farmers over in Europe to grow a high concentration CBD within a hemp crop. We did our extractions back in the fall of 2011, had our first nutraceutical products on the market early in 2012. And rather than go ahead and do years of testing and research to see, oh yes, this product is great for diabetes or heart disease or whatever, we just decided, let's bring the product out to the general public and see what the general public's experience is, and kind of take it from there. So that was our approach, and certainly we've had great anecdotal stories from people all around the country and now all around the world using our product very successfully. So through this, we've been thrilled to develop many businesses. We currently have 4 divisions in nutraceutical sales, Hemp Meds being our flagship company, but slowly being replaced now by Canaway, which is really a tremendously growing enterprise. And then we have 2 divisions that are in pharmaceutical development. So we're very well diversified. Medical Marijuana Inc. Still trades in the public markets. We're somewhere between 16 and 18 cents these days, and we're very excited about it. So my background, I was actually a Wall Street bond trader and underwriter. Worked in New York, did the commute from Long Island for many years, moved into Manhattan for 3 years, and had enough of that, had to move back to Long Island. But after that, I got into the field of physiotherapeutics. Actually, my grandfather was a medical doctor here on Long Island. He was chief of medicine at the Glencoe Community Hospital for many years, but I certainly enjoyed physical therapy, rehabilitation, and human performance, sport performance, etc. So I had a wonderful clinical practice in the Carolinas. I was based in Greenville, South Carolina. Did a lot of work for Clemson University. Clemson just won the NCAA football this year, so it's been quite exciting for some of us Clemson fans. And had a nice practice also up in Asheville, North Carolina, and certainly enjoyed that. But then I became an investor in the industrial hemp marijuana space, and currently I'm the president and CEO of our parent company, and I do use CBD products on a daily basis. Now, in this closed loop kind of network, this family, I can talk a little bit more about my personal story. About 2010, I came down with a very severe case of Lyme's disease, and this, over a period of a year's time, was just so terribly debilitating. I thought I actually had ALS because every day I had more and more pain, more and more muscular spasticity. I was virtually bedridden, looking like maybe a nursing home kind of existence the rest of my life. And it wasn't until I got on the CBD, I'll never forget my first night on a 25 milligram capsule of CBD. I had terrible muscle spasms and voluntary twitches all night long, what might be called restless leg syndrome. And every 5 minutes it would wake me up. It was just so aggravating because I couldn't get a full night's sleep. And it's interesting that all our Alzheimer's and dementia patients, as well as traumatic brain injury patients, your NFL football players who have this unfortunate situation, the one thing that they all have in common is that they don't sleep. And when you don't sleep, you don't get the chance to do your normal restorative, rejuvenative processes. You don't get a chance to really regenerate and restore your natural body's electrical system, and that can be tremendously debilitating. So I was going through this period every 5 minutes all night long. I'd wake up, just never get a decent sleep. My first night, 25 milligram capsule of CBD, I slept the full night through for the first time in nearly 2 years. It was just remarkable. And right then, my healing and recovery has been truly remarkable, because someone my age, normally medicine would say, well, you're never going to have much of a life, much of a recovery. But it's been remarkable. I'm back playing golf, walking 18 holes, sometimes even play 36 on weekends, traveling the world, giving presentations, and I've truly had a second chance at life thanks to CBD, and certainly we're excited about many other people having great stories of success over the years. So Valerie has done a great job of some of the education. She's already mentioned our company at first. So we were the first actual publicly traded company in the U.S. to engage in this legal cannabis space. We created the first CBD hemp oil pipeline from Europe, and certainly brought the first natural botanical hemp-based CBD products to world markets back in the year 2012. And since then, we've been able to bring our products, the first legal cannabis-based product, into Brazil as of April 2014. And this is just as we were starting Canada. We had this amazing opportunity afforded us by the government of Brazil. Totally unexpected, came out of left field. All of a sudden, the government of Brazil said, you know, we like your nutraceutical products available in the U.S. markets, but we're going to accept them in our country as a full-on medical product. It's going to be available by doctor prescription, and it's going to be allowed for the treatment of what's called refractory epilepsy. That's just the type of epilepsy that is resistant to pharmaceutical intervention. The children still continue to have seizure disorders. And a family in Brazil was using our product very successfully to treat their daughter's seizure disorders. And April of 2014 was a true turning point for our company to be able to be accepted by Brazil. Currently, there are about 1,500 families in this program in Brazil. Our company services a good number of them, and we're certainly excited about the additional opportunities for clinical development within Brazil, because doctors have now been writing prescriptions for things such as Parkinson's disease, chronic pain including migraine, headache, and even a child with what's called small head syndrome, or from the Zika virus, this microcephaly condition. And, certainly, we're very excited about many children who are challenged with these developmental disorders, and it seems our product is having some very nice success with their overall neurological health. In Puerto Rico, we have 12 product registrations, and in the country of Mexico, our products were similarly accepted as they are in Brazil. This was as of February 1st, 2016, so we're coming up on almost our one-year anniversary in Mexico. We had to develop a special THC-free product for that market because our flagship product from Hemp Meds, our Real Scientific Hemp Oil, which is basically the base product for all of our nutraceutical products here in Canaway, does generally have a trace amount of THC. This would be below the federal limit of 0.3%. And just like you can go to any health food store in the U.S., your Whole Foods, and buy your hemp seed oil, hemp protein powder, these products similarly will also have a trace amount of THC to the point if you were being drug tested and you consumed a good amount of hemp seed or hemp seed oil, you might actually fail that drug test. And so to alleviate this condition, we basically had to come up with this THC-free product. We now have it available in Canaway as our pure CBD oil, and we're quite excited about it because here our military personnel, our professional sport and Olympic athletes, as well as those truck drivers and others who are regularly drug tested, could take our product, the first cannabis-based product, to where someone could take this product, not fear failing a drug test. So we're certainly excited about that. And this product would actually qualify as the first product to qualify for world anti-doping standards. So we're certainly excited about our place in history, and very excited about where the future is going to take us with our nutraceutical products as well as our pharmaceutical development opportunities. Many times I'll start presentation just a little idea of what hemp looks like versus marijuana. I think earlier Valerie had a picture of me in a nice hemp field. Generally hemp grows very tall, many places in the world, maybe as tall as 10 to 20 feet in a very short growing cycle, 90 to 120 days. It's mostly grown for industrial application, fiber, textiles. Over in Europe, there's a big industry doing biocomposites. So your BMW and Mercedes-Benz automobiles will actually have hemp door panels or hemp dashboards made, and certainly there's a great application throughout the world. Now, on the other hand, marijuana generally is grown short and bushy. This is something that many people in Mendocino County and other parts of California were quite expert at growing marijuana, and of course you had the DEA and other officials would generally like to get in helicopters and kind of fly over certain areas, and if they saw marijuana grow, they'd come in and arrest everybody. But these enterprising marijuana entrepreneurs were able to grow kind of a very short crop. So if you're flying overhead in a helicopter, you couldn't really see that it was something that might be an illegal controlled substance. So marijuana has been historically grown kind of short and bushy, about waist high, but of course it's grown for a very high concentration of THC, which is your psychoactive cannabinoid. On the other hand, CBD is a non-psychoactive cannabinoid. And of course, on the marijuana side, there's not much in the way of industrial application. Hemp food products, fully legal here in the U.S. They're regularly found in U.S. Health food stores. Of course, your hemp seed, hemp oil, hemp protein powder are wonderfully nutritious products. We're very excited about the possibility of having a hemp protein powder available for Canaway in the very, very near future. On the other side, marijuana remains illegal at the federal level, but currently there now, I need to update this, there are 29 U.S. states, plus Washington, D.C., which have legalized for medical purposes. We also have 8 states now for recreational use, California being the largest, are going to become the largest cannabis market in the world. We also have 17 U.S. states that approve CBD forms of marijuana. These are called CBD-only states, mostly for epilepsy children, so their families don't have to relocate to Colorado. So actually, in 46 of our 50 U.S. states, you can get some type of legal cannabis or another, which I think is very exciting for the future of the industry, as well as for the future of human health and wellness. We talk a lot about cannabinoids and what are cannabinoids. Well, these are special compounds that are found in the cannabis plant family, and they're between 80 and 100 different known cannabinoids. Research now is going on showing every day they're finding another cannabinoid, which basically grow in many plant families besides cannabis as well. So you can find cannabinoids in, besides hemp and marijuana, the cannabis plant family. You can find this in flax, hops, echinacea, kava, even common tea will have cannabinoids. And besides your cannabinoids, there are about 400 other chemical compounds in our product, things such as chlorophyll, plant waxes, terpenoids, and flavonoids, and these all have a very interesting therapeutic and synergistic type of effect. So we're certainly excited that our natural botanical product has all these, what you might call active compounds, or these compounds that are acting synergistically, and we really feel that the natural botanical version is going to outshine and outperform the pharmaceutical version. And later in my presentation, I'll have a little slide that will show you that. So certainly we're excited about the natural botanical product having some tremendous therapeutic benefit. Here, just to review some of the things I've mentioned about the differing parts of the plant and the extracts having all these various terpenoids, flavonoids, your cannabinoids, and other plant materials all synergistically acting together. Sometimes pictures speak better than words, so I have this nice picture and slide here. Valerie also mentioned earlier this endogenous cannabinoid system that was basically discovered by science in the mid-1980s, and this system has proven out to be the largest self-regulatory system in the human body, and it governs a wide range of functions, everything from your mood, sleep, appetite, hormone production, your digestion of food, even the way you metabolize food, your metabolic processes are all governed by this internal endogenous cannabinoid system. And basically it serves to regulate balance, or what's called homeostasis, within the human body. It's interesting to note that in our human bodies, not only do we have receptor sites all over our bodies, but we also produce endogenous or internal cannabinoids. And two of these cannabinoids, one is called anandamide. This was first discovered by Dr. McCoolum back in the mid-1960s, a very famous cannabis researcher based in Israel. He named it anandamide because in Sanskrit it means the bliss chemical. So the effect, what's called the runner's high, is actually something that when we're in extreme types of exercise, running a marathon or long bicycling events or just other strenuous forms of exercise, our bodies will produce a good amount of endogenous cannabinoids, and enough of this endogenous cannabinoid anandamide to overcome the body's tendency to degrade these endogenous cannabinoids. So there are fatty acids and other enzymes in our bodies that degrade our endogenous cannabinoids at a very quick level, so we're not all walking around in these blissful-like states. But if anyone's ever experienced the runner's high effect, you have a release of both anandamide as well as another feel-good chemical called endorphins. Endorphins don't actually cross the blood-brain barrier, so they're kind of responsible for the body high. But anandamide does cross the blood-brain barrier, so it's really responsible for that runner's high effect. The other endogenous cannabinoid, 2-AG, it's a very long chemical name, but this is transferred from mother to child through the breast milk, and so many mothers generally through pregnancy and all will start to develop a very good amount of this endogenous cannabinoid 2-AG, which will then be transferred to the young one. It's also interesting to note that at about day 16 of the gestation period, the body's endogenous cannabinoid system starts to develop and is intimately involved in the young developing fetus's production of neural pathways, brain cells, etc. Anyway, Valerie did mention Dr. David Allen's got a great review of this endogenous cannabinoid system. Anyone wants a copy of the presentation, there's a hot link to it. I recommend you listen to that 3-minute presentation. So Valerie did also mention about the major receptor sites, the CB1 receptor, which is found mostly in the brain and along the spinal column and the central nervous system. And then our CB2 receptor sites, which are mostly in the internal organs, the gut, the viscera, and this helps to regulate immune function. Now we have a tremendous amount of other receptor sites in the human body, along with the CB1 receptor in the brain. There's also something called the G protein coupled receptor site. This is a great receptor site because it attracts cannabinoids. This particular receptor site regulates the function of about 800 different human genes, or about 4% of our overall human genomic sequence. And this is why we seem to be having such great success with many genetically related disorders. We have many children who have this unfortunate rare genetic disorder called CDKL5 epilepsy, named after a defective CDKL5 gene, characterized by about 300 seizure disorders or episodes per week. Many of these children are now seizure-free because of CBD. And the great researcher from New York University Hospital, Dr. Orrin Devinsky, credits CBD's action on this G-coupled protein receptor site as being the mechanism of action why these seizures are being reduced. There are also vanilloid pain receptor sites throughout the body, which cannabinoids have a very good affinity for. This is why many people use cannabis for its pain-relieving effect. Certainly we've seen some great anecdotal stories on pain with our CBD products. One of our pharmaceutical development companies is researching pain and muscular spasticity in multiple sclerosis patients for a pharmaceutically developed product. This will be a medicated chewing gum with a combination excuse me, of THC and CBD, and this is undergoing clinical development in Europe. Beyond this, cannabinoids also seem to have great effect on many other receptor sites in the brain, such as serotonin, dopamine, GABA, and even the opioid receptor sites seem to respond well to cannabinoids. So truly, our bodies are made to take and accept these plant-based cannabinoids because they have a longer, what you might call, shelf life. They last a little bit longer. Again, our endogenous cannabinoids are quickly degraded by these fatty acid enzymes, and the plant-based cannabinoids are not as degraded. They last longer and seem to have a wonderful synergistic effect with the human body. So the CB1, the neurotransmitter receptor site in the brain, actually has more receptor sites than for all your other neurotransmitter sites combined. Again, another great reason to think of these cannabinoids and hemp seed, for example, as being the foods of our natural human biological adaptation. Your hemp seed, tremendously nutritious with your full range of essential fatty acids, your essential amino acids, as well as a good full amino acid profile. One of the two plants that actually have this full profile, and then some tremendous immune-supporting immunoglobulins, which are proteins and help support the body's immune system. And certainly one could actually live and thrive on hemp seed. Again, that's just another picture here showing the many receptor sites in the brain. This little area here called the amygdala, interestingly enough, it's been found that people who have cardiac disease or cardiac stress, what happens here when the body is stressed, it tends to reset the normal metabolism of the amygdala. When the metabolitic action goes to a certain level, all of a sudden the human body will be more susceptible to heart and cardiovascular disease. And it's interesting that CBD seems to have this nice relaxation type effects. Many of you who've taken our product kind of find you sleep well, or you feel relaxed but also focused. It tends to clear out a little bit of brain fog as well. And certainly we're excited to be able to research the various parts of the brain and get into more of the science as time goes along. But just like this slide, just to show there are many great parts and regions of the brain which do have the CB1 receptors. CBD has a tremendous effect to improve the nutrient absorption across the cell membrane. There's been a nice bit of research and study from the University of Aberdeen in the United Kingdom showing that CBD or cannabidiol targets what's called the mitochondria of the cell to regulate intercellular calcium levels. Basically just showing that CBD helps to improve nutrient absorption, including calcium, across the cell membrane and into the cell. This is something that's we see 2 U.S. pharmaceutical development companies that are now studying CBD for its basic bone health and restoration processes. Many of us, as we age, develop osteoporosis or other bone-related disorders. Certainly, many of these individuals, they're continuing their normal diets. They're not deficient in calcium, but the cells are just not absorbing that calcium and those nutrients. And this is one great study showing that CBD actually improves the nutrients absorption across the cell membrane. So CBD is being researched for bone healing, for osteoporosis, other bone-related disorders. But while these nutrients are coming into the cell, the mitochondria of the cell are actually functioning more optimally. And with this is having a tremendous effect on people's overall energy levels. Many of us are fatigued, and certainly when they take CBD products, all of a sudden we overcome some of these challenges. And this is part of the reason why. This is a great bit of science showing that CBD helps to improve the nutrient absorption, and certainly to supplement this very large self-regulatory system. We love our plant-based phytocannabinoids, and we really think that individuals for overall health and wellness should be taking 50 milligrams of CBD on a daily basis. Many of us with more advanced needs, with certain conditions, will take more what we might call a therapeutic serving size, or a therapeutic dose, if you will. But we believe 50 milligrams a day will really fully supplement our body's largest self-regulatory system. Earlier I mentioned about the runner's high, mother's breast milk. And now there's actually a clinical endocannabinoid deficiency syndrome that's being postulated by our medical community researchers. This was first conceived by Dr. Ethan Russo, who's a very famous cannabis researcher. If one is deficient in these cannabinoids, most likely you'll develop at some point or another some of these very difficult to treat medical conditions, things such as fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, migraine headache, irritable bowel syndrome are all part of this clinical endocannabinoid deficiency syndrome. And it's been very interesting to see that patients and those who start to take these plant-based cannabinoids all seem to move to a much higher level of health and wellness and overcome these challenges. Just previously I was talking about how CBD helps to improve the nutrient absorption across the cell membrane. That allows the mitochondria of the cells to do their activities in a more efficient manner, producing the ATP energy reserves that the body burns for fuel. This helps the body to overcome these fatigue challenges, and certainly we believe that this is one of the great developing stories, and certainly think at some point in time we'll have additional research where we may actually be able to make certain claims and statements about benefits of our product. I know right now it's a little difficult because we can't say much, although there's great anecdotal evidence out there, but we're certainly committed to doing the necessary research to be able to make some of these claims. Anyway, this syndrome is something that's quite popular, and certainly glad to have you all know about it. We really believe that the future of the clinical research is going to be quite profound for this overall industry. Another nice thing to know is the entourage effect. Basically, this is just the synergistic application of all these different compounds, your cannabinoids, your terpenoids, flavonoids, plant materials. All these 500 chemical compounds act synergistically to produce a greater effect than what the pharmaceutical companies do, is just take out a single or possibly a double active ingredient extraction. And again, we believe these natural botanical products are going to have significantly greater effects for patients' overall health and wellness. Dr. Sanjay Gupta has a nice 2-minute video just outlining this amazing effect, this entourage effect, and it's available on a hot link under this particular presentation. Another concept to know, and when I first saw this, I was just absolutely blown away totally, but the U.S. government, of course, we have our law enforcement side, the DEA, the regulatory side, who considers cannabis to be a federally controlled substance with no medicinal use. But on the other side of the government, amazingly enough, our research side, the National Institutes of Health and all our federal researchers have actually come up with this U.S. government patent, and it's patent number 6630507. Many years ago, there was kind of a popular song, 8675309, that's kind of the number you remember. But in the cannabis world, you want to remember this number, 6630507. This describes cannabinoids as antioxidants and neuroprotectants. The research was started in 1999 by a group that included Nobel Prize-winning laureate Dr. Julius Axelrod. The patent was awarded in October 2003, and it shows a tremendous benefit throughout the human body. Basically, that cannabinoids seem to have this tremendous antioxidant, anti-inflammatory effect, which has great implication for our metabolic syndrome patients. And these are your heart disease, cardiovascular risk patients, your rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, even certain types of cancer are all errors of the body's natural metabolic processes. And we really believe that patients, and we've certainly seen many patients who are on CBD for 6 to 8 weeks, many of their elevated inflammatory markers, they go into the doctor, have the normal blood tests, and many of these numbers are very, very high. All of a sudden, these numbers come back down to a very normal level with 6 to 8 weeks of therapy. And this even includes the A1C marker, which is a diabetes marker. We've had many patients even start to wean themselves off of their dependence on insulin because of the fact they're now adding cannabinoids to their diet. All of a sudden, they're becoming cannabinoid sufficient instead of being cannabinoid deficient. Now, on the other side of the U.S. government patent, the neuroprotective side, this shows tremendous benefit for your neurodegenerative patients, things such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, PTSD. Of course, our epilepsy children all have these unfortunate neurological misfirings in the brain, and certainly it seems that CBD has been able to show some great benefit there. Certainly we think CBD also has the ability not only to protect brain cells, but also to have this what's called neurogenesis or neuroregenerative effect. So CBD has been the only cannabinoid to be able to show this so far, although it's only been proven in mice and animals in laboratory setting, not quite in humans yet. We're very excited about the future because if we can truly prove this out, we think we may have great answers for things such as Alzheimer's and dementia, for traumatic brain injury and CTE patients, as well as just for future of health and wellness and longevity. This is a tremendously anti-aging property that certainly even the U.S. government patent mentions age-related conditions. And the interesting thing about the government patent, it mentions that non-psychoactive cannabinoids such as CBD are much more advantageous to use. Because for me, if I take 5 milligrams of THC, I'm out. I mean, I'm on the couch and I'm sleeping for a good 12 hours. But this morning, I took 50 milligrams of CBD. Many days I'll take 100 milligrams and I'm functioning just fine and perfect. So you can use these non-psychoactive cannabinoids without that relaxation and couch lock, that type effect. And that's why they're preferable to use. And it mentions that right in this U.S. government patent. So please take a look at this. I think it's great research for us. We have highlighted here non-psychoactive cannabinoids such as cannabidiol are particularly advantageous to use because they avoid toxicity that is encountered with psychoactive cannabinoids at high doses. So regarding traumatic brain injury, we really think CBD has a tremendous place in the future of healthcare, and in this particular situation, of course, you're getting a lot of publicity with our ex-NFL football players. There's CTE issues and the rest. Many of these players are obviously having challenges just from all the repeated head injuries, but you really don't even need to have a series of head injuries over the years. It could just be one traumatic car accident, and that can set in place a downward spiral of physiological processes in the body. But here we have some very interesting research that was done in the UCLA Medical Center, South Torrance, kind of the South Los Angeles area, with 446 young adults who unfortunately were involved in traumatic car accidents and had head injuries. Being from California, many of these young kids had pretty regular access to cannabis, and it was interesting to see that among the group that was studied here, the regular cannabis users were 80% more likely to survive a traumatic brain injury, 80% more likely to survive, and this is presumably because their brains have this extra layer of neuroprotection that these cannabinoids can give. So it's like having a mini football helmet for all of your brain cells, and thus we're very excited where this is going. The research was published in the American Surgeon, but from here, if you can imagine all our up-and-coming, high school, college, even professional football players, at some point we think it might be mandated that they're actually going to be on this natural botanical hemp CBD product because it has shown these tremendous neuroprotective benefits. So, kids are kids. They do crazy things. They think they're invincible, and unfortunately, being a physiotherapist, I've seen some of the unfortunate outcomes from some of the things that kids do. But I mean, if you're a parent, my gosh, wouldn't you want your child on this to just give them that extra layer of neuroprotection because you just never know, and especially if the child was involved in an at-risk situation, hockey, football, or women who play field hockey or equestrian riders. We certainly think the neuroprotective benefits are going to be researched out. I know the NFL, when this was first out, that actually these football players had the CTE. Dr. Amalu discovered this. The NFL tried to hush it up and discredit Dr. Amalu, but in the end, the science has proven itself out. The NFL has now hired a new medical director just to address these particular issues. As time and research goes on the next few years, we really think that this is going to be a mandated program and certainly bodes very well for anyone selling our products over time. I did earlier mention that our RSHOX, or now our nice product we have in Canaway, our pure CBD oil, is the first cannabis-based product to actually qualify for world anti-doping standards. So for even those who are drug tested, we do have an answer for those, and certainly think that everyone needs to supplement with these cannabinoids. Over time, there's been a real increase in the trend of these neurological disorders. Research at the Mayo Clinic, going back this summer, looked at the last 30 years and trends, and basically for us men, for every 10 years of calendar life, the numbers show that we have a 17% greater risk of developing what's called Parkinsonism, and a 24% greater risk of developing Parkinson's disease. And this is something that not only in Parkinson's, but also going throughout the neurological community. Many of these other neurological disorders, Huntington's disease and other disorders, are very much statistically on the rise. And of course, our bodies are being subjected to things such as cell phone radiation around us. Our foods that we eat are all kind of grown with agricultural pesticides, which are filtering through. Even our organic foods seem to have some of this residue in it. Of course, all our soft drinks and other artificial sugars. Aspartame, for example, is a proven neurotoxin, but still somehow allowed in our diet and society. These all are affecting our neurological system and unfortunately creating this huge increase in neurological disorders. I mean, when I was a child, maybe I heard of one child somewhere throughout the country who did have epilepsy. Now, almost every neighborhood, you've got an epileptic child or an autistic child. I mean, we all know these families. It's just crazy what's happening. And truly, to protect ourselves, we really believe that these natural botanical CBD products are the answer for this. Certainly, I've had a great personal story of many of our families here. The Pagano family, who are filming here in Patchogue, has an amazing story, and this is not only here in the U.S., but also around the world. And we're certainly glad to provide some of the media links to everyone just so you can keep up with this. Now, other potential applications for our product. Post-chemotherapy, we have a wonderful doctor out in California, Dr. Don Abrams. He's chief of oncology and hematology at University of California, San Francisco Medical Center. All his post-chemotherapy patients, he sees these patients with pain, depression, nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, and sleep issues. And Dr. Abrams, like any medical doctor, for these patients and their conditions, he can prescribe 6 different pharmaceutical medications, all with differing side effects, drug interactions, etc. Or he can just prescribe medical cannabis, and that seems to be taking care of these patients' situations. Now, the nice thing about Canaway is that we've also developed this nice product, this detox bath soap, which is fantastic for pulling toxins and heavy metals and others out of the human body. So any post-chemo patient, I would love them to be on that detox bath soap as well as on natural botanical hemp CBD. Again, you can give a larger dose without the side effects or the psychoactive effects. And many of these recovering patients were really interested in health and wellness and not so much the psychoactivity. And we really think we have a great place here. We're certainly excited that in Mexico, we'll soon be starting a study of these post-chemotherapy patients, and our SHOX product, which is very similar to our Canaways, pure CBD oil, basically the same product, just different name. So we look forward to sharing some of that research with you, but just another target market that I believe we're going to have some very good success with. Now, throughout the world, CBD is being studied for many different conditions. There's a British pharma company here in the U.S. Doing a clinical development with an epilepsy drug. We certainly see many Israeli researchers researching metabolic syndrome. Earlier I've mentioned broken bones, osteoporosis, just because CBD helps to improve calcium and other nutrients absorption across the cell membrane. There's research going on in Parkinson's and Alzheimer's in particular. Dr. David Schubert at the Salk Institute out in San Diego published some great research back in June of last year. Regarding Alzheimer's, the pharmaceutical community for the past 20-odd years has been trying to find an answer for the unfortunate downward progression of Alzheimer's. Basically, this affects 5.4 million Americans. Currently, we spend $225 billion a year of health care, Medicare money, taking care of our Alzheimer's patients. By the year 2050, this is going to escalate to between 15 and 20 million Americans and cost our healthcare system over $1.1 trillion. So it's a big target for the pharma community, and they've tried 190 times over the past years to try to find some solution for this, and basically there's zero for 190. They're batting a big goose egg. So Dr. Schubert comes along in June with some amazing research, and he basically shows that cannabinoids not only reduce inflammation in the brain, but the buildup of this toxic protein called beta amyloid, and this just is a characteristic or a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease, and very similar to beta amyloid is this tau protein, which again another toxic protein accumulates in the brain, and this is more characteristic of your traumatic brain injury or your CTE patients. Anyway, cannabinoids have been shown to be kind of the first something that is actually having a positive effect here. So maybe 3, 5, 6, 7 years down the road somewhere, we think we may be able to actually have a product and something that's actually going to help work to reverse this downward progression of Alzheimer's. So very exciting to have everyone here at such a ground floor level, because everything in this whole cannabis industry, I was just having a radio interview the other day, and the fellow said, do you think we're in the first inning of this cannabis revolution? And I'm saying, well, I think the pitcher's got the ball in the hands, about to throw out the first pitch. We're not even in the first inning. My gosh, the opportunity here is so tremendous. But you know, there are anti-cancer benefits being researched. California Pacific Medical Center, Dr. Sean McAllister showing that CBD actually targets a particular gene, that when this gene gets defective, it causes metastatic cancer or cancer to spread throughout the body. CBD switches this gene off, or halts the progression of this metastatic cancer right in its tracks. It causes cellular apoptosis. So great, very early stage Petri dish research. Over time, we think this will be, something we get into human trials and study. We may actually be able to prove this out. Again, have more claims. Neuroprotection, traumatic brain injury. One of our portfolio companies, Can Life Sciences, has 2 license agreements for the NIH to look at this, and one of those licenses is to develop a cannabinoid-based pharmaceutical medication for traumatic brain injury or CTE. And again, even though they're researching the pharmaceutical side, we think on the preventative side, anyone who's at risk, the natural botanical product is going to be the answer. So I did mention this study. I wanted to show the kind of the entourage effect, if you will, how much better we believe the natural botanical version of CBD is than the pharmaceutically developed version. So here, this side, this Dr. Davinsky from University of New York has been researching Epidiolex, which is the pharmaceutical product to treat epilepsy. Here they're giving between 25 and 50 milligrams of CBD daily per kilogram of body weight. So, for example, many young 40-pound children might be taking as much as 500 milligrams of CBD daily, which I think for an adult, the maintenance dose is 50 milligrams of botanical. But they're having to give these very large doses to these children, and the median seizure reduction reported is about 36.5%. So over on the botanical side, our Dr. Aguirre, who's a medical doctor in Mexico City, has been researching CBD, and particularly our RSHO-X product, which is available through our hemp meds sales division. This would be the pure CBD oil available through Canaway, same product. Basically here, on the botanical side, he's giving between 1 and 4 milligrams of CBD per kilogram of body weight, so much less in terms of dosing, if you will. But the median seizure reduction reported is 67%. So almost twice what the pharma group is getting. And again, the botanical entourage effect, we believe, is at the source of all this. The natural botanical is having a more profound effect. Now, there haven't been a lot of quality of life improvements with the pharmaceutical grade, but look over on this side, what people start to report. 83% improvement in emotion, 88% improvement in cognition. We're certainly seeming to be able to address many of the other developmental disorders and challenges that these children are having. And over on the pharma side, 70% experience some type of adverse effect. 30% of the families experienced a serious adverse effect to where they actually quit the program just because of the safety of the child. There was one death over here. On our side, there were no adverse effects. So I think that speaks volumes to the fact it's a natural botanical product that the body recognizes as good for us and as food. Anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I think I tried
Okay, everyone. Dr. Titus will be with us for about another 15-20 minutes. What I would like to do is turn off the live.
Yes.
And turn off if anyone's doing any live. What we'll do is, I know a lot of you are probably going to rush up to him and ask some specific questions that you may have for yourself, and the answer is going to be helpful to everyone. So as long as